We think of stealth fighters as these invisible ghosts of the sky, right? Totally untouchable, completely unseen. But what if that whole idea of invisibility is, well, an illusion? What if their greatest strength actually hides a critical weakness, one that's making them vulnerable in a way nobody really saw coming?
See, the entire point of a stealth fighter is to see the enemy long before they ever see you. But what happens when that gets flipped on its head? What happens when a silent hunter is out there watching you and you have absolutely no idea it's there until it's way too late? That's the puzzle we're digging into today.
To really get why this is such a huge deal, we have to understand just how insanely dangerous a modern battlefield is. We're not talking about old-school dogfights here. We are talking about a sky that is absolutely saturated with threats, where danger can pop up from anywhere at any time. Just look at this timeline. It shows how quickly everything can unravel. I mean, in just a few hours, you've got 3 different aircraft taken down by 3 completely different kinds of threats. You've got advanced surface-to-air missiles, a simple shoulder-fired missile, even a hidden anti-aircraft gun. The danger is constant, and it's coming from all angles. So this is the exact environment a stealth fighter, like the F-35, is built to dominate. It's supposed to slip right through all these defenses, totally unseen, totally untouched. But a recent incident is challenging that entire idea, forcing us to ask some really tough questions. So, reports started surfacing that an F-35 was hit on a mission. Now, it made it back safely, but it was damaged. And this is the kind of thing that it's not supposed to happen. It's like a ghost getting punched. So, how on earth did the enemy do it? How did they manage to target a jet that's built to be invisible? And this chart right here shows why that question is such a big deal. The F-35 is designed from the ground up to be invisible to radar. Its radar cross-section, basically how big it looks on a radar screen, is incredibly small. We're talking about the size of a bird, or maybe a golf ball. For an enemy radar, trying to find it is like trying to find one specific needle in a continent-sized haystack. And here's the key. This is the big reveal. The attacker didn't even try to play the radar game. They just went around it. They completely bypassed the F-35's main defense and used a totally different method to find it. And to see how they pulled that off, we need to look at the 2 main ways a missile goes hunting. Okay, so this brings us right to the heart of the matter. You've got 2 fundamentally different ways for a missile to attack. One is loud, it's active. The other is totally silent and passive. And that single difference, well, it changes absolutely everything for a stealth fighter. So first up, you've got the active hunter, the radar-guided missile. Think of it like it's screaming its head off, sending out powerful radio waves. The F-35's stealth skin and shape are designed to absorb or deflect those waves, so the echo that comes back is so faint the missile can't get a lock. The pilot's warning systems will literally light up, telling them they're being shouted at. So you can see the difference right here. The radar-guided missiles, the shouters, they're the threat everyone was preparing for. That's what stealth was built to beat. But the infrared-guided, or heat-seeking missiles, they are a completely different animal. They don't shout, they just watch. They are silent hunters, and that is what makes them so incredibly dangerous. A heat-seeking missile is a passive hunter. It doesn't send out any signals at all. It just has a sophisticated sensor that looks for things that are incredibly hot against the freezing cold background of the upper atmosphere. And what's one of the hottest things you can possibly find up there? You guessed it, a jet engine. And that right there brings us to the F-35's Achilles heel. It's got one of the most powerful engines ever put in a fighter jet. But all that unbelievable power generates an absolutely enormous amount of heat. It's a massive thermal signature, a giant plume of hot gas that's basically impossible to hide. Okay, so if the F-35 has this giant thermal weak spot, this glowing hit me sign on its back, what kind of system is out there designed to exploit it? Well, the answer is a technology that completely rewrites the rules of engagement, and it creates a whole new kind of ambush in the sky. It's called IRST. That stands for Infrared Search and Track. Think of it as a super powerful thermal telescope that is just constantly scanning the sky. And because it's completely passive, it emits zero energy, and F-35's warning systems will never, ever pick it up. A pilot can be painted or tracked by an IRST system on the ground and have absolutely no clue that it's happening. So let's just walk through the attack sequence. First, the IRST system on the ground spots the heat from the F-35's engine. It passes that data over to a heat-seeking missile, which locks right on. The very first time the F-35 pilot knows they're in danger is when their own amazing 360-degree camera system actually sees the fiery rocket motor of the missile that's screaming towards them. By then, they have seconds to react. Seconds. So what is that reaction? Well, the pilot's main defense is to pop flares. These things are basically super hot pyrotechnic decoys made of magnesium. They're designed to burn even hotter than the jet's engine, hoping to be a more attractive target for the missile. The whole idea is to get the missile to chase the flare instead of the plane. But here's the crucial detail. The missile doesn't even need a direct hit to ruin your day. Modern missiles have what's called a proximity fuse. If it gets close enough to the jet, or even a flare, it explodes, sending a cloud of shrapnel ripping through the aircraft. This explains perfectly why the report said the F-35 was damaged, but not destroyed.
This whole incident isn't really just about one jet getting hit. It signals a massive shift in the constant cat-and-mouse game of air combat. For decades, the game was about beating radar. Now that stealth technology has largely done that, adversaries are pouring all their resources into perfecting this new kind of passive detection. And just take a look at this thing, Iran's 358 missile. It's a total game changer. It's not some high-speed interceptor. It's more like a loitering drone. It can just fly slowly in a holding pattern for hours, just waiting and watching with its infrared sensors. It's designed from the get-go to hunt in the infrared spectrum, completely sidestepping traditional radar-based stealth. And this quote right here, it just sums up the huge strategic impact. The idea that a fifth-generation fighter like an F-35 can just fly anywhere it wants without fear, well, that idea is now being seriously challenged. The game is changing, and the hunters are getting a lot smarter. So what's the big takeaway here? It's that stealth was never a magical cloak of invisibility. It's an incredibly advanced, highly specialized tool designed to solve a very specific problem: radar. But as these passive, silent, infrared threats get more and more sophisticated, the tactics for survival in the air have to evolve right along with them.
Which leaves us with this one last, really fascinating question. In an age where these silent, passive hunters are becoming more common, the race is on to redefine what it even means to be unseen.